Alright guys, here are 2 things that kept me skinny even though I was lifting 5 or 6 times a week. And by skinny, I mean 5'8.5" college student weighing about 148 pounds, about 15 to 20% body fat, all in the waist area, skinny fat, typical Asian genetics. And my physique was like that for like a year, and I didn't even know what I was doing wrong at that moment. This channel is slowly turning into a home gym equipment reviews and some sort of reflection of my own methodologies and concepts around bodybuilding and how I am documenting the philosophies, if it changed or if it stays the same. There are a lot of equipment review channel with high production studios, massive space, 5 times more than what I have right here. And I don't want to compete with that. We get a lot of that already. And also we have a lot of science-based, exercise-based channels that provide you great information. I want you to be able to think for yourself and question the things that matters the most, especially living life as a normal person in this day and age. I, myself being a father of 2, I am a full-time worker. What I have here is just a small space. I want you to be able to get everything that you can with as little space and time that you have. And I think being able to share the workarounds of life and getting as massive as we can with that constraint is worth making a channel. All right, that being said, here is mistake number 1, dancing around failure. And what do I mean by dancing around failure? It's like, imagine you are doing a barbecue grill with your friends. Instead of putting the actual meat in the grill, you dance around, you talk, you play some music, and you don't actually get to cook the meat. I know that's a stupid analogy, but it's like most people, including myself, try so many things before actually feeling the discomfort and actually trying to reach the point of 0 RIR or RPE 10 when it comes to lifting, that it holds us back so much from what we could actually achieve in a small amount of time. Some of the examples that I could think about here is sacrificing your technique for maintaining the momentum and the tempo, cheating the reps in order for you to get the certain rep range. And what do I mean by that? I will show you in a while, but first about rest pauses. In a bodybuilding set, imagine getting as much stimulus and intensity as you can, because ultimately the effort, the intensity is what drives the muscle growth. So you want to be able to absolutely crush the set as quickly as possible, as hard as you can, without wasting a lot of your energy and a lot of your time. And what happens is we just dance around the set. We extend it by resting in between the reps, and actually the failure point gets further and further away. This is same as the drop sets that I see nowadays with a lot of people. Instead of actually dropping the set when they reach the failure point, they actually drop the weight and then they extend it by adding more reps. Before they reach that failure point again, as soon as it becomes uncomfortable, they drop the weight and then do a couple of reps again. You have to avoid prolonging the suffering. You don't have to needlessly extend and prolong this set. If you can get as much stimulus in just one set, reaching that failure point, I'm not necessarily saying go to 0 RIR all the time, reach failure all the time, but there's a couple of benefits to reaching that. And one of those is to just tackle it head on and stop dancing around the set. Let's use a set of dumbbell lateral raises, for example, because this is one of the typical exercises that is quite obvious when it comes to dancing around instead of reaching failure. So imagine that this is a proper weight, but for demonstration purposes, this is just a light weight. So we're going like this. This is your technique. And before, I made the same mistake by when it starts to be uncomfortable and the rep is starting to slow down, I heave and I cheat, use the body language to maintain the tempo and to keep the reps going, thinking that pushing the reps to 12, 13, 14, 15 even is driving more failure point and it's driving more fatigue to the muscle. That is wrong because the technique is gone. You can't even track your progress the next week because you don't know how much body English you've used for the previous week. If we try, imagine that this set is just until 8 reps or something, and This is my starting technique. I do have a sort of a body language from the beginning, but I'm maintaining that technique all throughout. And by rep 6, it starts to be slower. By rep 7, it starts to get way harder. And by rep 8, it almost doesn't move. And if you grind and then slow it down, that's where you want to be. And a lot of people avoid this because it's discomfort, because the burn is too much and it's painful. And again, training to failure sometimes takes practice. Being there takes practice. But the more you have these grindy reps, the more you stimulate muscle growth. If you ask me which one was better, 3 sets of like dancing around drop sets versus just 1 set of that clean, grindy rep, I would choose that. I would choose that every single time. And one more thing about failure, don't even worry about reaching absolute failure in your set. Just worry about how good the quality of your reps are, your technique is, and focus everything that you have on every single rep that you're doing. Quite complicated and nuanced, especially not all movements share the same pattern when it comes to training to failure. Let's say a failure on a bicep curl won't be the same as failure on a squat, on a deficit stiff-legged deadlift. The point that you reach failure on those movements varies. So talking about just reaching failure doesn't really help you. What I want you to think about is actually trying to work as hard as you can. I'd suggest this one as well, like filming yourself. If you think that the set was really hard, I absolutely guarantee you, when you're in that moment, it feels harder than it seems. Time slows down, but actually in reality, it was just a second, but you felt like it was 5 seconds on that set. I encourage you to film yourself and check back whether you think you really hit a hard set or not. The next mistake would be influence. So this one has 2 parts. Part 1, influenced by your certain goal physique or your influencer, quote unquote, natty influencer. There's a gap between realistic and there's a gap between you and that person. You're setting up to fail because you're putting them into a pedestal wherein in reality, if they have somewhat of a achievable physique, even though they're a pro, IFBB pro, down to your coworkers or even my friends, you can achieve it. Like, of course, there's nuance to that, the genetic component to it. But just by disconnecting yourself and putting yourself way below them, you're already failing in that part. What you should do is absolutely focus on what your goals are realistically for your situation. Try to see what's out there instead of just seeing what the internet feeds you, because what you see is just the top 1%, maybe even less in social media. Take a look at every single person around you, in your neighborhood, in your work, and see if there's actually like 8-pack jacked people around there. It's like finding a 7-foot tall person as well. So don't set yourself up to failure. Another part would be influenced by fads, the latest and greatest study or the latest and greatest advice from different people. A lot of times these are made by content creators. Take note, if you keep watching and keep doom scrolling until 2 a.m., you'd see a bunch of training techniques and diet. And now training is the same thing. Everyone's trying to come up with some sort of magic formula, whether it be lengthen partials and stay away from fatigue, like 1 to 2 reps in the tank all the time. Upper lower is the new best thing. These are all just looping back in history. And chances are you would find the solid principles from people that has the physique that you want. You will see it from the people who already been there. This is why a lot of times when we say, oh, the basics work, it's because the foundation, the principles of bodybuilding and the methodology didn't really change. If you keep following fads, you never stick to anything for a long time. Fads have an expiration date, but what you want to do is have a solid foundation of knowledge that you know has worked through time, has been tested by many people, and try to stick to something and excel at that something for a long time, for as long as you can. And I myself was a victim of this. I was following the powerlifting trend, coming from the person who tried power building, powerlifting, whatever. Ultimately, I'm back to the basics. Just train hard, keep it consistent, and then keep a log of your progress, the methods stay the same. Most creators in the space chasing views, chasing likes, and trying to get as massive of a following with just their short form content, those people, they don't care about you. They don't care what actually is important to their viewers. They just want to up whatever competition they have. They do clickbait titles, they just say whatever you want to hear or whatever topic is trendy at the moment. That is it for the two things. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have some thoughts, I'd like to know in the comments below, so please tell me. I'm excited to share more things like this with you guys. It's Kevin from Home Gym Gains, and I'll see you on the next one.